I want to introduce you to a pasta that could possibly change your life. It is the easiest pasta recipe you will ever come across. Inspired by the great Martha Stewart, it only takes a few ingredients and it's all done in one pot. This is my one pot pasta with tomatoes, basil, all those brilliant classic Italian flavors. So it starts off with a little bit of chopping. I've got some tomatoes which are already sliced. I'm going to slice up my garlic nice and thin. And the beautiful thing about this recipe is that it all takes place in one pot. So once you have all your ingredients ready to go, it's going to cook pretty quickly. So we've got garlic, we've got a little bit of chili. You don't have to add the chili if you don't want to, but I think it adds a nice touch of heat in a pasta sauce just like this. The trick with this pasta, because it cooks so quickly, is to make sure that you have nice thin slices on your garlic, on your chili and on your onion. It just means that it's going to cook together quite quickly and quite fast, but you're also not going to get any of that raw flavour from any of those ingredients. So just nice thin slices on your chili, and then finally that onion. Just take the tops and the ends off your onion and then just finely slice on the vertical. You should be left with wafer thin slices of onion that is going to cook down and add so much richness to this sauce. I have to admit that I was quite skeptical when I first came across this recipe, but it really works. Having tried it, having tested it, it just comes together as something really luscious, creamy and satisfying in the sense that you get all those Italian flavors in one pot with very little effort. We are in business. We have the onion, we have the garlic, and we have the chili, and now it's all about an assembly job. I have a pan that's large and high-sided, and I'm going straight in there with some pasta. We're going to start off with onions in one corner of the pan. Stick in that chili and the garlic. Get in those tomatoes. I'm using cherry tomatoes here, and if you can get a mixture of colours, all the better. But any tomatoes will do here. You just want something that's going to break down quickly. So if you have larger tomatoes, just chop them up a little finer. And then for that truly authentic Italian taste, you have got to go in there with basil. I'm going to use about half this bunch in the sauce at the start, and then I'm going to decorate it with some more at the very end. So just tear off some of those leaves, and then scatter them in and around this lovely looking pan. A good drizzle of olive oil going in here. You just want a few glugs. Season it up with some salt and some pepper. There is something very satisfying about a dish that looks this good before you've even started cooking. Now that we've got all that, it's time to get in there with our liquid. You can use chicken stock here if you want to, but just regular water will do. Just pour that straight the way over. And now, that's pretty much it. That's all you've got to do. Stick on the heat. This is going to cook out for about 10 minutes. You need to continuously stir and just keep an eye on it to make sure everything breaks down, it cooks out, and you get left with this brilliant pasta sauce. This is now starting to come together. It's come to the boil, and you just need to use the tongs and mush it about the place. And what will happen is that pasta will swell up. It'll take on a little bit of the liquid. The tomatoes mush down. You've got all the flavor of the onion. And basically what you'll be left with is a silky smooth pasta sauce, which is just epic. The only piece of advice I will give you while making this is keep your eye on it and use that tongs just to make sure that everything cooks through. I mean, it's only going to cook for 10 minutes, so you do need to keep an eye on it. This is exactly what you're after. That silky sauce, that perfectly cooked pasta. And now to finish it off, I'm just gonna grate some pecorino cheese over the top. The trick here is to grate the pecorino in, give it a last stir, and it actually helps to bring the sauce together with that bit of creamy cheese running through it. That should do me. Give it a last good stir through, and don't forget some of that fresh basil. Just tear in those leaves. That last little hit of fresh basil will just make all the difference. Give it a last little stir, and the liquid that's in this pan has come together with the starchiness from the pasta to create a really velvety tomato sauce. So this is looking pretty good. I'm going to give it one last season with a bit of black pepper. And now it is time to serve. This is where I get a little bit excited. We've only had 10 minutes in a pan, and you get left with the most creamy and luscious looking sauce. The tomatoes have broken down, the sweetness is just going to add so much to this sauce. So now, all that's left to do is to dive in and try some. This is why this is so amazing. In very short amount of time, you have a perfect plate of pasta. It is creamy. It's delicious. It has all the flavors of Italy in one bite. Italians, please look away because this is probably not the classic way to cook this, but it is so, so good. If you want the recipe, you can check it out in the box below over on my website. Make sure to subscribe to this channel for lots more delicious pasta recipes. Like this video, share it with your friends, and of course, leave me a comment in the box below letting me know if you're gonna try this delicious pasta. Until then, my friends, happy pasta making, and I'll see you soon. Today, I am a little bit nervous because I'm gonna make for you spaghetti Aglio e Olio. This is a classic Italian recipe, and the reason I'm nervous is because one of my other Italian recipes, or I don't know if I can call it an Italian recipe, caused a lot of consternation for a lot of Italians. I'll leave a link for it just here. But anyway, we're talking about one of the easiest Italian pasta recipes you will ever make. It starts off in a pot with some spaghetti. Now, spaghetti aglio e olio, that basically means garlic and olive oil, so you can't take many more ingredients than that. But it does start off with some good quality spaghetti. Straight into the pot, just push down your pasta and make sure that it all gets nicely coated in that boiling water. It is important to make sure that you have salted boiling water, which I have right here. This is gonna cook away for about 9 to 10 to 11 minutes. You want al dente pasta. This is essential for this recipe. So we have our pasta cooking away. I'm gonna slice up some garlic. And for this recipe, you just wanna slice your garlic nice and thin. Garlic has a tendency to burn in hot oil, so we're gonna start this in a low pan. Okay, we have a heck load of garlic, so now it's time to fry it up. We've got a dry, cold frying pan, and I'm just gonna put the heat on, add quite a generous amount of extra virgin olive oil here. Now, normally with extra virgin olive oil, I would only use it if I was making a salad dressing, because if you cook it like this, it actually burns off some of the flavor. But because this is the only good element of this recipe, I am using the best quality olive oil I can get my hands on. So about 5 to 6 tablespoons going on in here. And then we're going to add in our garlic. Now, you'll notice it's going into some cold olive oil. The trick here is to make sure that you slowly infuse that olive oil with all that great garlic flavor. So if you add it and it's quite hot, it'll just burn the garlic. So you want to bring it slowly to temperature, and you're looking for a nice golden brown color on your garlic. Now, while that's coming up to a nice simmering point and it's going golden brown, we're going to chop up some flat leaf parsley. You don't have to add this in here, but I do think in a very simple and plain dish like this, a bit of fresh aromatics like flat leaf parsley will make all the difference. And actually that's starting to simmer too much, so I'm just going to turn down the heat right down to its lowest setting and let it slowly come to temperature. Give your flat leaf parsley a nice rough chop. So we've got the parsley, and then finally a little bit of red chili flakes. These are essential if you want that little bit of heat, that bit of bite to this pasta recipe. So only a pinch of that going in with our garlic, which is nicely coming to temperature. I don't add them earlier than this because otherwise they can go a little bit bitter and they can burn, just like the garlic can if you're not very gentle with it. So this is looking pretty good. I'm gonna reserve some of that pasta water, take a generous jug full of that going on there. I'm gonna grab up my pasta, and it's time now to drain it. So straight into a colander, and straight back into the pot. Looking good. And now we need to toss through all these great ingredients. So pull back that parsley. We need to get our oil straight in there. I know it looks like a lot, but you know what? This is so much flavor in here, and with your pasta, this is instant spaghetti success. So straight in there. And then we're gonna go in there with our parsley, and in there with a generous grating of Parmesan cheese. And now at this point, it's about tossing this all together. I've reserved that little bit of water if I need it, but at this point, I'm just gonna toss it through with all that oil and see how we're fixed. Now, I would normally add a little bit of water, but I actually don't think I drained enough off, so it's actually got enough. The only thing it does need at this point is a final little grating of Parmesan cheese. It's coated quite nicely, but I think that last little hit of Parmesan just makes all the difference. And then all you gotta do is give it that last little toss and serve it straight up. Give me a minute, man. I don't know what to say, because people think with simple recipes like this, there's not much point in making them, but I promise you, you make this very simple spaghetti with garlic oil and chili flakes, and it is instant success. There is so much flavor going on in there. The Parmesan cheese, you've got the spiciness of those chili flakes, and that garlic has just gently infused that extra virgin olive oil and made all the difference to the coating of this pasta. Beautifully al dente spaghetti. This is one I know you're going to give a go because it is just that easy. Check it out in the box below. You'll get the full recipe over on my website. Make sure to subscribe. Check out all our social media. There'll be spaghetti and all sorts of things over there. And of course, leave us a comment in the box below letting me know if this is the authentic spaghetti aglio e olio. I hope I've done you proud, my Italian friends. And until then, I will see you soon in spaghetti success. Goodbye. Without a doubt, one of the most popular recipes with over 1 million views on this YouTube channel is a one-pan pasta. However, with its success has come lots and lots of hate from Italians. I am sorry, Italians, but it is a very convenient recipe, just like the one I'm going to make for you now. A one-pan lasagna. Italians, look away. This is not for you. This is for the person at home who wants to make something quick, delicious, and super tasty, and it is so convenient to do. So, we've all our ingredients for our mince. We're going to make a really good ragu to start off with, and it begins in our pot. So, a tablespoon of oil going in here. I've got some finely chopped onion. You're looking for a nice hot sizzle. Give it a quick stir. Season it with some sea salt and some black pepper. I always do this at the start. It starts to bring out the moisture in the onions. Once those onions are softened, we're going in there with a little bit of garlic. But first, I do want some flavor. So I've got a tiny touch of dried oregano, or oregano, wherever you are in the world. Give that a stir through and it just starts to become really nice and aromatic. Okay, this is looking pretty good. So get straight in there with some chopped garlic. Give it a quick stir. Now to go in alongside this and start getting our meat sauce going on, we're going to go in there with some pancetta. So straight in there with all that lovely pancetta, and it's going to add this lovely salty, meaty flavor to this bolognese sauce or ragu. You're just looking for that pancetta to start to take on a little bit of color and just to be sizzling. And then it's time to go in there with some mince. So straight in on top of our pancetta. Mix that up just with the spoon, and I do find at this point it's good to keep mixing with the spoon just so that you break up those big clumps of the mince. This is looking really good. Now there's not too much color on the mince at this point, but it has started to cook through. So at this point I'm going to add in some chopped tomatoes, 2 tins of chopped tomatoes going in. Give that a mix through, and I think at this point it's good to season it up again. So just a tiny touch of salt. There's already quite a lot of salt in there with the pancetta, so not too much. And then some black pepper. Give it all a good stir through. This smells so good right now. And for a little bit of extra substance, I'm going in there with some grated carrot. Give that a good stir through. This is now going to simmer down, and you're looking for it to kind of reduce by about a quarter. Now, for an extra hit of richness, I've got 1 tablespoon of tomato puree going in here. So give that a quick stir through. And now this is going to simmer down for about 15 minutes or so until that sauce becomes nice and thick. Now while this is cooking away, we're going to talk about our white sauce filling. Now it's not a traditional white sauce. I did warn you about this. We're going to make it with some ricotta, some cheddar and some parmesan. And basically you just mix all these through. It is the quickest white sauce you will ever make, but it is super tasty and it works really well. You've got that creaminess of the ricotta and then the salty hit of the 2 cheeses. This is looking pretty good, and I'm also going to loosen it out with a touch of milk. So about 3 tablespoons going in here. And just give that a good mix through. Now it just needs a little touch of black pepper, and I'm not going to add salt in there because there's a lot of salt going on right now. So just give that a final mix through, and essentially we have all our components ready. We've got our meat sauce nicely bubbling away. It's actually done at this point. So we're going to use about half this mixture and just scoop it out into a dish because we're going to use the bottom layer as our base to this lasagna. So this is nearly about half the mixture. Do make sure you pull up some of the liquid when you're doing this. You want a nice even base. And now it's just a case of layering it up like you would a normal lasagna. So we're going to start with our meat base. We're going on with a layer of lasagna, layer of cheese sauce, layer of lasagna, meat sauce, layer of lasagna, cheese sauce, layer of lasagna, and then finish it off, or something like that. Anyway, let's cut to a montage. After all that layering, we have a top layer of beautiful bolognese sauce. So I'm gonna finish it off with some mozzarella slices. So decorate this on, a few little basil leaves, lid on, and this is gonna cook for about 20 minutes. Right, this is good to go. It now needs to cook out for about 20 minutes and then we will be in business. Okay, my one pan lasagna has had its time and check this out. That eruption of steam and that smell is so fantastic right now. And the beauty of this is that all that lasagna goodness is contained in this one pan. It smells wonderful and now I have got to try some. So I'm gonna dive right down while it's still hot. I've got this lovely cheesy sauce. I've got that wonderful bolognese mixture. And now I'm just gonna stop talking and start eating. If I could choose one simple pasta recipe that you should absolutely try and put as part of your everyday repertoire, it is spaghetti all'arrabbiata. I think I've pronounced it right. I hope I've done it justice, but we are gonna make this and show you just how easy it is to make a spicy, luscious tomato sauce. It is gonna be absolutely phenomenal. And best of all, the ingredients in front of me are all the ingredients you'll need. Some spaghetti, some tomato puree, some tomatoes, a little bit of chili pepper. I've got some extra virgin olive oil, I've got some pecorino, and I've got some garlic. You need no more. And it starts off by cooking up our spaghetti. So get some spaghetti in there and get mixing. I'm just gonna mix through so that it gets nicely coated in the water. This is some heavily salted water. And while it is cooking off, we're gonna crack on with the sauce. So get your pan on a slow and low heat. I have 2 large garlic cloves, which I'm just gonna finely slice with a sharp knife. And I want thin little slivers of garlic here, just for that taste and that fragrance and flavor. And if you're not a garlic fan, but you still want to develop the flavors in your sauces, a nice little tip is to take a whole garlic clove, unpeeled, and stick it straight in the oil, just so you get the taste, but you don't get the texture of the garlic. So it's a little subtle hit of it. So this goes into a pan, alongside some extra virgin olive oil. I've got a few tablespoons going in here. You know, when you're frying it off like this and you're using it with simple ingredients just like these, I tend to use extra virgin olive oil rather than normal olive oil because it's a really good, strong flavor from it. Garlic goes in as this comes up to temperature. We're gonna slowly but surely infuse that oil, bubble and sizzle, and get it to a point where the garlic is just about turning light and golden brown. And while that cooks, I'm going to blitz up my tomatoes for this recipe. To my tin of whole plum tomatoes, I am going to add about a tablespoon or so of tomato puree. Now, there's a reason for this. I want that intense tomatoey flavor, and sometimes these tin tomatoes, they need a little bit of extra help. So I'm gonna add a tablespoon or so of tomato puree, or tomato paste if you're in the US. This now all goes into a food processor, and I'm gonna blitz this up so I get a super smooth and silky tomato sauce to this recipe. So lid on, and let's get blitzing. Okay. Oh, a lot of noise, and you don't have to do this step particularly if you like chunky tomato sauces, but this results in the silkiest all'arrabbiata you will ever come across. So I have that ready to go. My garlic is just turning that little touch golden, and this is the point where you need to get it to, and you don't want to go further than this. So to this, we're going to add a generous pinch of red chili flakes in here. I like my arrabbiata spicy. So get it in there and hit it with that spice. And now that we have that oil flavored with the spice, flavored with the garlic, it's time to get in there with this tomato puree and that canned plum tomato. There's the action. We got some sizzle, we got some serious flavor coming together. So you're combining that oil in alongside the tomato. This can only be a good thing, and it's gonna cook quite quickly. It only takes about 8 to 10 minutes just for those flavors to thicken down, intensify, and soon it will be ready for that cooked pasta. Pasta sauce has had its time. You can see it's bubbling away, and I'm just going to check the seasoning just to make sure we're in business. It's good, but it needs a touch of salt. And funny enough, you know, I know this sounds like a really obvious thing to say, but in cooking, that little bit of salt can mean all the difference between a good tasting dish and a bad tasting dish. So make sure you check your seasoning as you go. This is good to go at this point. I'm going to turn off the heat on my pasta, which is cooked. And now it's just a case of getting this all involved in the one pan. So grab up that pasta, transfer it straight into that hot sauce. A lot of people wonder what that point of difference is from really good pasta dishes, and often enough it comes down to well-seasoned pasta, but also the use of a little bit of that starchy pasta water. And that's why in this case I'm not draining the pasta, I'm taking it from one pot to the next, taking in a little bit of that starchy water alongside. It will be the difference. Give it all a good toss. You want to get that tomato sauce involved. Look at that, only a few minutes and you have pasta beauty all in one pan. Really gorgeous. Oh yeah, oh baby, oh yes. That is looking fantastic. Right, let's serve this up. This looks really, really wonderful now. And all you gotta do is stick this straight into your plate. I mean, you need no more. And the brilliant thing about this is just how few ingredients it takes to create beautiful pasta perfection. Arrabbiata, done in minutes, in the time it takes to cook the pasta, and then a last little touch of pecorino just over the top. Give it a swirl on your fork, get it coated, have a little moment, feel a little bit romantic. Oh man, one of the first pasta sauces I ever learned to make, and one that I come back to time and time again. If you have never made any pasta recipes before, this is the one to start with. It's the sort of basis of some great Italian cookery, and it is so, so delicious. Best of all, you can make it in minutes, and you probably already have the ingredients in your store cupboard, so go try this recipe. In the kitchen today, we are making spaghetti and meatballs, one of my favorite family meals. The best thing about these spaghetti meatballs is that my meatballs are poached in a beautiful, rich and tomato sauce. So to kick it off, I'm going to get on with my beautiful meatballs, which start off with a mixture of pork and beef mince. This gives great, great flavour. So get that straight into a bowl. In on top of that, we've got some breadcrumbs. So get lovely breadcrumbs in there, about 100 grams going in. Lovely bit of pepperiness from a tiny bit of mustard going in here. I've got Dijon mustard going in, really nice peppery flavour. And then I seem to be using my finger to do this, but it works and it does the job. So get the tomato ketchup in there, nice bit of kind of vinegary sweetness in there. And now I'm just going to get my hands in and mix it up. For a little bit of spice and a little bit of flavour, I'm going to try and one-handedly open a bottle of Tabasco, which is going to give me lots of great spiciness. With another one hand, I'm going to add in a little bit of dried oregano or oregano or whatever way you call it. Just about a teaspoon going in here. Get that in there, mix it up. Beautiful beef pork meatballs. These are going to be epic in my beautiful tomato sauce. So, set that aside. No, I'll leave that there. Grab up a plate, not that plate, this plate. Grab this plate. And now we're going to form our little meatballs. So you're looking for kind of just smaller than a golf ball in size. Have a little bowl of cold water just beside you so that you can dip your hands in, and this will prevent a nice kind of build-up. Well, that's not really a nice build-up of fat, but it'll prevent that build-up of fat from the meat on your hands. Look how beautiful they look. So now give my hands a quick wash and give your hands a quick wash too. And you need to make sure that you're nice and clean in the kitchen. Now it's time to get some pasta on it, and because we have a lot of people in the kitchen to do it today, say hello everybody. Hey. See, I have a lot of people to cook for. So we're going to get a whole pack of pasta going straight in here. Just a little drop of sea salt going in. And over here, I have a very, very sweet and rich and delicious tomato sauce, which I've cooked out already. And if you want to find out how to make this tomato sauce, click on the box below here. It's right over here. It's a very easy, it's a kitchen basic, and it can be used for lots of different things. So we have our tomato sauce, we have our beautiful pasta kind of edging into that lovely water. And now I'm going to put my meatballs straight into that tomato sauce. Once you have all the meatballs in there, they are going to poach down in that beautiful, intense sauce for about 10 to 15 minutes. But do this covered, so the steam that rises up will actually cook the tops of these, but do turn them halfway through the cooking time. I did lie to you at the start of this recipe. I said I was making spaghetti and meatballs. I'm actually making linguine and meatballs, but the beauty of this recipe is you can use whatever pasta you like. You could even use tagliatelle in here. Now, my beautiful linguine is cooked. My meatballs are looking glorious and beautiful. So now, heat off on both of those, and I'm gonna drain up my pasta. And now, I'm gonna borrow a little bit of the sauce from my meatballs and just place some of it in amongst that wonderful linguine. Once the pasta is nicely coated, just like it is now, grab a big plate like this, and I'm gonna serve this up in a big platter style. So take up big mound of that fantastic linguine, and on top of that, we need to get in there with some meatball action. Now, if you can see that steam, I just want you to imagine that beautiful smell that is wafting around this kitchen right now. It is absolutely incredible. It is a true winner and a great family meal. To finish it off, I'm just gonna give it a nice shaving of Parmesan cheese over the top. And then get in there for the taste test. A little bit of linguine, little bit of that wonderful rich sauce, bit of that meatball in there, and now into the go.